Okay, we'll now move on to our final section, which is embargoed for 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Jamie.
Hi, Eric. You just said that the team plays better when Wild is in it. Could you explain why? And does he have any chance of maybe becoming a permanent Manchester United player for next season?
Well, of course. And I think he's doing a lot of elements of football. He's doing really well. He's doing a really good job for us. In pressing. So he's the leader of the process in the pressing. He starts the press. He's very good in the backward pressing. He's taking over positions. He's link-up player. He's doing really well. He's making great movements and making space for others. So he's also good in the set plays. So he has really a contribution to the performance of this team. And this team, I think after Christmas, we played 25 games and we lost 2 games. So you can see, and he played almost all the games. So he had really part of that success.
Phil.
When it comes to signing new players in the summer, which you're clearly going to be looking to do, how vital is it that you can offer them Champions League football? How vital is it to finish in the top 4 when you've got others who are going to be sort of nibbling around the same pool, like the Scousers, Newcastle, say, people like that? If you can offer them Champions League, that gives you, clearly it must be vital to give you that little edge ahead of them.
But one thing, let's make clear: we have to play Champions League football. A club as Manchester United has to act in the Champions League. So there's no misunderstanding.
So, I mean, that for all, it's great for the fans and everything. You've given them 1 cup. Ideally, you give them another couple, but you've got to be in the Champions League. That's the be all and end all. If you want to be in the market for the players you want to be in the market for, you've got to be able to offer them that.
Of course, we are more interesting when we are in the Champions League, but I think even when we are not, we are still attractive for players. I have noticed that also last year when we were not in the Champions League. But I want to make my point clear: we have to be in the Champions League, and so we have two paths. That is one over the Premier League, be in the top 4, or over the Europa League, win the Europa League. So that are the 2 paths.
Simon.
You spoke about last summer, Eric, and attracting big name players to the club. How were you able to sell Manchester United to players like Casemiro, Anthony, that was when you were in the Europa League? Was it with that vision that you would return to the Champions League eventually?
I think a very good example, Casemiro. He won everything, all Champions League, but he was willing to come to Manchester United, even when we were playing Europa League, because this club attracts people. It's very interesting for them, and they want to be part of this club.
Last 2, Joe and Thầy.
Eric, you've been an outstanding cup team this season. Now you've got 3 league games. Has there been a difference in approach or the levels, do you think, between the league and the cup games?
We want to win every game, and I think that is when we're talking about culture, to construct a culture, then you have to win every game. And I think that is the approach what we have in every game. So we will prepare every game 100%, and we don't want to miss things in any game. And I think that is what people can expect from us, and that is the demands we have to set.
Last question, Thầy.
Hi, Eric. You mentioned a few times this year about 7 or 8 teams being able to win the Premier League, of which Newcastle are probably one now. We know they have almost unlimited wealth available to them in transfer market and wages and things like that. How hard is it to compete with that over the long term, and what do you need to do to be able to compete with that when, you know, at least a couple of clubs in this league have money that maybe others don't?
But money is one thing, but the other thing is also strategy. So when I was in Ajax, we had a low budget in comparison with many opponents in the Champions League, and still we won the groups. We came in a semi-final. We were close for the final. So it's also possible with a lower budget to beat teams with a higher budget.
Have you got, is the strategy right at this club, do you think, from what you've seen over the last year? Have you got the right strategy in place then to...
So for my analysis, I think we are on the in the good direction, in the right direction, and I think we're building a base this season. But from here on, of course, we have to develop and we have to progress, and you can do that by developing the team. So, and that is in every game you have to play a better game, and so every training. You can develop your way of play, and that is what we are doing. And so we are also setting every time high demands and standards to our players. And then, for the rest, then in the summer, we will see. But that's not in this moment the focus point. The focus point is now the way of play. Make a better game, make a better way of play, so we have a better chance to winning games.